Now to Washington, D.C. ahead of what's sure to be a contentious year as the House changes hands. Fresh reporting from CNN suggesting House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy has offered a concession to critics in his bid for the speakership, this being a reduction in the threshold for a vote to oust the sitting speaker. Let's get to Yahoo Finance Jen Schonberger for a breakdown of the situation. Jen.
Hey, good morning, Brian. With Republicans set to take over the House next week, the party is grappling with intra-party divisions that could stall their legislative agenda, showcasing that a handful of conservative Republicans are holding out on pledging votes needed for Kevin McCarthy to be the next Speaker of the House, setting up a clash right out of the gate when the new Congress convenes on Tuesday. Several House Republicans have withheld support for McCarthy in return for commitments on spending and legislative rules. In a concession to try and gain support, last week McCarthy agreed to demands the House should block bills from Republican senators who voted for the government funding bill this month, a commitment that will be difficult to keep, especially if McCarthy wants to work with the Senate to pass legislation. Kowtowing to different factions within the party, especially given a slim majority, will make it difficult for House Republicans to come together. While Kevin McCarthy is likely to be the next speaker, this fight is a preview of how tough it will likely be for Republicans to advance legislation over the next 2 years. That's why raising the debt ceiling is a worry next year. House Republicans are expected to use the nation's borrowing limit as leverage to push substantial spending cuts, setting up the potential for a standoff that could rattle markets. White House chief economist Jared Bernstein warned Republicans against using the debt ceiling as a negotiation tool next year, with the economy in transition facing the headwinds of rising interest rates and elevated inflation. Bernstein told Yahoo Finance in an interview last week, quote, "It is always an absolute awful time to fool around with the debt ceiling the way the Republicans have been talking about, but it's even worse now. We've been talking about an economy that's in transition, headwinds which are real. There are obviously risks of different landing scenarios. This is just the absolute worst moment to contemplate own goals." He went on to say weaponizing the debt ceiling to achieve spending goals is the height of irresponsibility. Of course, raising the debt ceiling is spending that Congress has already authorized. Meanwhile, McCarthy has pledged to keep an eye on spending on Ukraine, a concern for House Republicans, saying that they will not write a blank check to Ukraine. So while it was expected that there would be gridlock between parties next year, it appears there could also be gridlock within the Republican Party. Brian?
All right, I'll take it from here. Thanks so much. Yahoo Finance's own Jen Schonberger.